Hello and welcome to Adam's Gallery in Reigate. Founded in 2020 by Adam Green and Julie Groves, the gallery is housed in this wonderful old building that dates back to the 1500s. Recent exhibitions have featured artists including John Piper, Henri Matisse, William Blake, Samuel Palmer, Stephen Chambers R.A. and most recently Marc Chagall. We are now proud to exhibit works by David Hockney, one of the country's greatest living artists. Born in Bradford, 1937, Hockney continues to amaze with his creativity and his energy. A true inspiration to all artists and art lovers alike. A retrospective of his work is currently on show in Paris at the Fondation Louis Vuitton. Adam's Gallery is delighted now to bring here a collection of works by Hockney, including many from the Grimm's fairy tales, which Hockney was commissioned to interpret in 1969. Let's now take a look at some of them. David Hockney was born in 1937 and is one of the most influential 20th century British artists. He's explored a diverse range of techniques over the years, including painting, printmaking, drawing, set design, videography, photography and digital art. He was an innovative printmaker with technology early in his career, which has gained recent traction again, drawing on his iPhone and his iPad. Hockney explores everything from still life and domestic scenes to portraits and landscapes. Hockney's style is iconic and recognisable with its warm feeling and lively, colourful palette. In 2018, Hockney's portrait of an artist, Pool with Two Figures, became the most expensive artwork by a living artist to be sold at auction when it fetched, in New York, $90 million. Hockney's work is held in countless international collections and museums. In 1969, Hockney created 39 etchings for 6 fairy tales from the Brothers Grimm. They were proofed by Maurice Payne and printed by Piet Clement. They were published by the Petersburg Press with Casmin Gallery in 1970. Hockney chose 6 stories from the Brothers Grimm's 220 tales, including The Little Sea Hare, Fundevogel, Rapunzel, The Boy Who Left Home to Learn Fear, Old Rinrack and Rumpelstiltskin. He admired the simplicity and the directness of those stories, which cover a range of experiences from magical to moral. They are an intriguing and exhilarating reimagining of the Grimm fairy tales, which bring together the well-known and the less familiar, all in David Hockney's inimitable style. Hockney's interpretation of the Brothers Grimm fairy tales are like no other version you will have seen before. His extraordinary etchings reimagine these strange and supernatural stories for a modern audience, capturing their distinctive atmosphere in a style that is recognisably the artist's own. This might ring a bell or two. This lithograph, titled Paper Pools, Pool Made with Paper and Blue Ink for Books, represents one of David Hockney's most iconic subjects, the swimming pool. Celebrated for its vibrant portrayal of water and Hockney's distinctive style, this piece enjoys significant popularity among collectors. It serves as a prime example from one of his most revered series. Hockney's pool-related works were heavily influenced by the stylistic breakthroughs of early 20th century artists, particularly Henri Matisse. He draws substantial inspiration from their bold, swirling lines and simplified forms, which convey movement and abstraction. Rather than pursuing photographic realism, Hockney places emphasis on texture and energy to capture the ever-changing and unpredictable nature of water. While Hockney's swimming pool images are often associated with leisure, they often carry a deeper and more complex significance. Beneath the playful aesthetics of these pools lies an introspective and darker side. The 1970s marked the conclusion of his relationship with Peter Schlesinger, a central figure in Portrait of an Artist, Pool with Two Figures. In these later works, the still and undisturbed pools, often devoid of human presence, evoke feelings of isolation and emotional void. The empty scenes, marked by still diving boards and calm water, evoke feelings of solitude, where the vacant areas indicate emotional distance. The lithograph, made with paper and blue ink, captures this sense of isolation well. Hockney focuses on the water, almost excluding the poolside. This choice eliminates any sign of people, leaving the lone diving board empty and quiet. The 1972 Munich Olympics poster. This is a vintage poster of Hockney's pool diver artwork created for the 1972 Munich Olympics. Hockney was one of 29 artists who made posters for those Olympic Games. Now, this incredible drawing is by the artist Luke Adam Hawker. It is of the inside of the Royal Albert Hall and drawn completely freehand and plein air on site over 2 nights. And in the distance you can see the organist Anna Lapwood. There she is. She's performing there, and she is the first ever official organist appointed to the Royal Albert Hall. If you click on the QR code on the label, you can watch a short video of the drawing's creation. We are delighted to bring a selection of Luke's original drawings to the gallery. As well as this piece, we have many others, including the Royal Opera House, St Paul's Cathedral and Westminster Abbey. Luke Adam Hawker is an artist with a background in architecture and design. Luke commenced his career as a designer before he became a full-time artist in 2015. He has a fascination with drawing on location, as well as taking the time to notice the world around him. He primarily uses his art as a means to connect with places and people. In 2021, Luke published his first book titled Together, and it quickly became a Sunday Times bestseller. Together is a graphic novel that offers a philosophical exploration of the events that took place in 2020. Together has been well received worldwide, and over 130,000 copies have been purchased worldwide in 11 different languages. Following the success of his first book, Luke published his second in 2023, called The Last Tree, A Seed of Hope. This heartwarming fable highlights the power of nature in a world without trees. The Last Tree has been translated into 11 languages so far. Luke is currently working on 2 books. One is with the amazing Robert Macfarlane called Firefly, and is the first in a trilogy. The second is more personal, and Luke describes it as a non-verbal novel, inspired by his son Harry and the relationship with his dog Robin. In Luke's words, it is about love, difference, acceptance, empathy, and the power of being open to them all. This print is the work of Dame Barbara Hepworth, born in 1903, died in 1975. She was a very famous British artist and sculptor. She received a scholarship to the Leeds School of Art, where she met Henry Moore, and together they played significant roles in advancing modernist sculpture. This piece is called Squares and Circles and is an original lithograph in 4 colours from the 12 lithograph suite of 1969, published by Kerwin Prince on B.G. Crisbrooke paper. This copy is a working proof aside from the edition of 60 with registration cuts right and left hand side, inscribed, proof passed, bottom left in Hepworth's hand. Hepworth's early works were characterised by abstract forms in marble or stone. Later, her time in St Ives expanded her material repertoire to include wood and bronze, along with some figurative work similar to that of Henry Moore. In the late 1960s, she also explored lithography, producing suites with the Kerwin Press. Hepworth passed away in a fire at her Trewin Studios in 1975. In 1958, the printmaker Stanley Jones arrived in St Ives. The Cornish town was, he said, an unknown quantity, and so was he, just 25 years old, dispatched by his employers at the newly established Kerwin Studio to seek out partnerships in the Cornish artists' colony. The sculptor Barbara Hepworth was high on his list of potential collaborators. Stanley Jones was then in the very earliest days of his career. He'd given up a promising apprenticeship in Montparnasse to help Curwen establish a competitor to the renowned lithographer's Atelier of Paris. Hepworth, on the other hand, was entering her last professional chapter, a fruitful period of late creativity that saw her venture into the world of printmaking. After a few experiments with printing, it was over a decade later when Stanley returned, and in 1969 two series of prints were created. The first 12 lithographs drawing on themes ranging from her sculptural forms to the passage of the sun and the moon and the later Aegean suite. And we are delighted to present Henry Moore's complete set of elephant skull etchings, created between 1969 and 1970, the same time as Hockney's Grimm's Fairy Tales, in fact. There are 28 etchings in all, and each one represents a unique perspective and interpretation of the skull that fascinated Moore so much. However, he soon became captivated by its complexity and shifted his focus to the inner forms, examining small areas to highlight their landscape qualities. This portfolio of etchings was printed in an edition of 100 copies in 1969 to 1970. Adams Gallery is pleased to offer edition 83 out of 100. Now, Anne Desmet, R.A. We first showed Anne's work last year during our When Palmer Met Blake exhibition, commemorating the first meeting between William Blake and Samuel Palmer, and we are very pleased to include Anne's wonderful engravings in this exhibition. Anne Desmet was born in Liverpool, UK, in 1964. She gained a BA and MA at the Ruskin School of Art, Oxford University, and a postgraduate diploma in printmaking at the Central School of Art and Design, London. She has taught wood engravings widely, including at the RA Schools, the British Museum and Middlesex University, and is a former external examiner in fine art at Aberystwyth University and at Kingston College of Art. In 2011, Desmet was elected a member of the Royal Academy of Arts and is only the third wood engraver ever elected to the RA in its entire history. She is also a Fellow of the Royal Society of Painter Printmakers, RE, and the Society of Wood Engravers, SWE. In 2018, she was elected an Honorary Fellow of Worcester College, Oxford. Katherine Jones, RA. Ever since the gallery opened in 2020, we have been honoured to show the work of Katherine Jones, R.A. Katherine makes distinctive images that are inhabited by ordinary objects, spaces and buildings. Often the structures depicted are fragile or vulnerable, covered or transparent. They are a framework the artist uses to begin to question perceptions of safety and danger. These issues are under the surface of her everyday as an artist mother and an individual in a challenged world environment. On to Stephen Chambers, R.A. As with Katherine Jones, Adams Gallery has always had the distinct pleasure to exhibit the prints of Stephen Chambers. Stephen's screen prints delve into both real and imagined characters, highlighting the potential dialogues that emerge between them. His narratives are enriched by a diverse cast, including historical explorers, ancient goddesses, contemporary politicians, and figures from folklore, all set against intricately patterned backgrounds that serve as a cohesive veil. Chambers has created a notable collection of prints inspired by the tales of frontier explorers in the American Midwest, having traced their journeys during his own travels. While his work does not strictly document any specific historical period, it encapsulates narratives of human interaction, conflict, wandering, and the essence of survival. He was elected an RA in 2005. Thank you so much for watching and for listening, and we hope you will enjoy the artworks discussed, as well as many others that are on display here. And you can view the complete catalogue online at www.adamsgallery.co.uk.